Hello guys, I believe I planted this Euonymus green spire back in June, sometime in June. So starting July 9th, it started to turn yellow like here gradually, and of course I was concerned. And the first thing that came to my mind based on my experience with one of my roses that died, that it was too soggy and that the roots were too wet. And I'll show you the other one. This one is planted on the northern side of my garden, and it gets more sun than the other one, and it looks much better. There's slight tinges of yellow, but nothing really too concerning like the other one. So I dug them up and replanted them, and oh wow, the soil down there was so wet, soggy, and just very clayey. I added a lot of this cactus soil to amend my soil, and I also added a soil that contains sand and pebbles, which I might show you in a different video. But look how clayey, wet, and soggy the soil was. And mind you, this was June and July, and even though it was dry on top, but it was really wet underneath, and I think that's why my poor plant was turning yellow. What I didn't do initially when I planted these Euonymus green spires was that I didn't loosen up the roots, and I think maybe that may have contributed to some of the yellowing as well. But this time around I really loosened up the roots. In fact, I damaged a lot of the roots, so at this time I was already thinking that maybe the plant won't survive since I damaged a lot of the root system, but I was still keeping hope. As the days passed by, I kept monitoring these Euonymus plants very closely, and still no change. They still look kind of yellow. And as you can see here, they kept looking worse. They kept drying up and yellowing. And at this point, I was almost losing hope, but I was still keeping hope alive. And here's the other one, the one that's planted on the north side, still also just drying up and yellowing even more. This is the most current video that I have. I took this video approximately 2 weeks ago, and a lot of the leaves eventually dried up and they fell off. And I'm still keeping hope alive. It still looks a little brownish, but it looks like the green is trying to break through again. So hopefully I'm really keeping up hope alive here. So I'll definitely give you guys an update at some time in the future. And the other one looks the same also. A lot of the leaves fell off, and now you just see that green trying to break through. And now here's an update on the Lonicera Sempervirens, which I call the American Honeysuckle, and it's not looking good either. It's turning yellow and just dying. Initially it was doing so well, it was just climbing up as high as it could, and then now it's not looking too healthy. You still can see green leaves throughout the plant with bits of yellow. So I've noticed that the majority of the yellow leaves are at the bottom, and on top most of the leaves are green, which gives me a little bit of consolation. Also, the fact that there is another honeysuckle on the other side of my garden, which is the Lonicera japonica, and I'm going to show you that in a bit. Okay, so here's the Lonicera japonica, which is the cousin of the American honeysuckle, and this one too goes through its cycles, and as you can see, it's yellowing, and I think it's just due to the season. And even though I think, because I'm thinking they're evergreen, and I don't think that they yellow or that the leaves fall off, but I think it's just normal that they shed their leaves as well, obviously, right? So we'll see what happens. So this is the update that I have so far.